We currently have one man, All Might, the number one hero. He's currently facing off against one of the most dangerous opponents he's ever faced. He has been pushed to his upper limit. A war has been going on, one that is waged in secret, between good and evil, and right now it has just hit a turning point. As a giant monster comes rushing forwards and goes to attack the number one hero. He doesn't believe he'll survive this one. Now, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and well, somebody had the idea, I believe it was Rulies, Ulysses, I think it's how you pronounce it. He had the idea to call these Kirusho mini shots. And I have to say, I really do enjoy and like that name personally. So I might start calling this that. Now then, with that being said, I'm stealing that. I'm sorry. It's just too good to pass up. Rulies, if you're watching that, I didn't even think of that. Anyways, now, with that being said, we do actually have Deku. Deku, the way he has started his life, it was never easy. Ever since he was a baby, he was seen as a villain. His parents, they abandoned him. And Deku, that wasn't even the worst of it. As he began to grow and get older, other kids in the, orphanage, they saw him as that. They saw him as a villain. Deku has eyes that glow a bright red color, even in the dark. Ever since the day he was born, people saw him as evil. His eyes are the color of blood. And the boy, from what they can tell so far, he appeared to be virtually quirkless. It was just so disgusting. How can they have a child like this? Their eyes, they're freaky, they're scary, and they have no power? Now, they decided to abandon Deku. And as he began to get older, he did start to develop his actual abilities. Now, many different people, they couldn't go to the quirk doctor, and sometimes the ability would be a lot more visible to see. Their powers, they're crappy, they're useless, and only some of them could be found interesting, especially by an external source. Now, young Izuku. The day he developed his power, he found it to be quite interesting. He felt his eyes beginning to start somewhat hurting a bit. And the moment this did happen, a giant flash of energy did happen. And Deku, he just felt it. He created these tiny limbs. Compared to his body, they're tiny, but they've got to be the size of an adult arm. Probably even larger. Now, Deku was kind of surprised, as you did even have the ribs, and the large rib cages that just covered Deku's body. Now, people found it to be quite strange. Deku's particular quirk. It's just that. It's creepy. You're seeing a giant humanoid hand flying along with ribs? What does that even do? It just confirms it. Deku's got some freaky zombification quirk, doesn't he? Even then, that look in his eyes when he does have his power active, it's freaking everyone out. Now, Deku was kind of surprised by this, as he just didn't know what to do. People, they throw him out as the outcast. They're all orphans. Some of them get adopted, and some don't. Deku's one such case. He's always been here. There are people who they do think of adopting him, but the moment they find out about those glowing red eyes, they don't care. The boy's a villain. They can already see it. Now, some of them they don't even wait to hear his ability. And one time, a couple they were dead set on adopting Izuku. It just seemed like he was the one. They heard so much about him. They heard people talk about him. He was just so hyped up. And Deku, he was waiting for this. He's at least met these people a few times. He knows they're nice. He knows that they're willing to go through with it. He just felt so excited. However, it's just that. The day they were supposed to show up, they didn't. And Deku, he just felt sad, disheartened. He felt betrayed. The people he would call mom and dad, they basically just bye bye. They didn't seem like they wanted to see him again. They sent him a letter in the mail, but even then, it wasn't even that. They made it very clear. Deku's a villain. He always will be. Why did he think people would change? The letter talked about how they didn't really want to adopt Deku. They were able to adopt a healthy baby girl without the freaky red eyes. It just, something in Deku shifted that day. He was around the age of 8 whenever it happened, and he felt something going on with his quirk. His freaky ability, the one that gives him the ability of the giant skeleton. It's just that. It's so strange. At this point in time, he can make the giant ribcage. He can make the giant arms. But he doesn't have a head. And this thing, whenever he does make it, he's basically stuck in place. That's the bad part. If he was to ever use this in combat, he'd be stationary. He's like a giant turret, but with a limited reach. So, what can he even do? He sees how this quirk is useless. He sees how people understand it. He sees their understanding. He sees everything about it. And he doesn't even really want to. No. One day, kids, they were very surprised. Somewhere around the age of 10 years old for Deku, a man walked into the orphanage, and he wanted to meet the young boy. The boy got his quirk looked at 1 year ago. Because Deku, he just felt immense eye strain, and he just collapsed from the pain. He was taken to a hospital, and he actually at least get certified to have a quirk, if you do want to put it that way. Now, the doctor found this, and he did come to meet young Izuku. The moment he laid his eyes upon that boy, he did see the way he did act. He was isolated. He was alone. And he hated it whenever people tried to approach him. And it was made quite apparent whenever the good doctor, he walked straight over to Izuku. And Deku, while he was just looking down and messing with something in his hands, he'd at least tell the good doctor that he shouldn't even bother. And why would that be, young man? Because I know the moment I turn my head, you'll be scared. And why would that be? Because of my eyes. Now, Deku, he's always had some thoughts in his head. Some that aren't even healthy. Take them out. Get rid of them. They're the problem. The eyes are the reason why people don't like him. Why no one loves him. They've always been the problem since day one. He knows what his parents felt that day they saw him. They didn't love that child in their arms. They didn't want to protect him from the world. They wanted to protect the world from him. They hoped that by dropping him here, he's not their problem no more. They'll make sure he's good, won't they? No. It didn't happen. It didn't work. He knows in his eyes, or his heart and mind, his eyes will always be a problem. It doesn't matter if he's a hero. People are still afraid of him. They're afraid of his power. the skeleton man. You can see it now. Now, Deku, he actually is told by the good doctor. The man bending down and going to actually pull the goggles off of Deku's head. As he actually does look directly at the boy. Now, the man does ask young Midoriya or young Izuku if he would like to go grab some lunch. Now, the nuns in charge of the orphanage were quite surprised, and they were actually able to approve upon this request. Deku and the good doctor going out, and the doctor actually starting to get Deku on their side. It's quite simple. The young man, he's never been trusted. He's never really just been happy. He's never had a place to belong, nor has he ever had a friend. The master will love this. Now, with that being said, over these years, that Deku, he was young. Many things happened. He met Tomura Shigaraki, and he even did make a friend. The doctor, he took more of those kids. Some of the ones that made fun of Deku, some of the ones that messed with him and bullied him all his life. They went missing. And sometimes a friend or a Nomu friend would pop up. Now, Deku over these years, he's been able to embrace that darkness within himself. And there actually was today, long after the master has been captured, he just was killed. A famous pro got their hands on their father, and Deku was enraged. All for One finally broke out, and he lashed out. That being the current chaos that's going on. Deku using the mighty, well, cloaked man, as you want to put it. He is nearly unstoppable. Deku's rage, his anger, he's ripped apart the last 10 city blocks. And All Might, he's been unable to push this man back. People, they're horrified watching it. In some, they try to take him on. As you do have the villain, known as the Flaming Monster. He's just tearing things apart. He's the Devil Man. He's just insane. Now, many people, they don't really know what to say about him. He just can throw away a life that easy. He's killed so many people already today, and even then he doesn't show any signs of stopping. All Might actually going to try to dodge the punches that does swing down. Being able to dodge, I just try to grab one of the giant arms and pick the monster up into the air. Now, Deku, the moment All Might did go to do that, his arm and body starting to move upwards, or at least being flung forwards, he did actually go to try and bring out the giant Susanoo's arm. Him being able to bring it in towards the gut, and then go to extend it outwards and up, directly blasting into All Might's stomach, and his entire body. As All Might, he just tried to dodge the attack or even block it, being skidded backwards into the street as he does smash the cars. Now, people, they're very concerned. All Might, he does try to blitz Deku in speed, him rushing forwards and smashing the giant creature directly in the stomach as it sends skidding backwards itself. It dragging through multiple buildings as it does try to gain its footing, before quickly stepping off of one giant foot and rushing towards the number one hero. Now, as it does rush in, you do actually have where it does kick down with its right leg. It trying to blast All Might into, well, let's just say the next continent over. All Might, as he is kicked, he is sent flying. However, he does just barrel into the ground and keep heading straight. It's like someone's just trying to tunnel their way straight down, and they're not stopping at a high rate of speed. Now, Deku does watch All Might smash to a mountain, as he does go to step off and rush forwards. Now, Deku, he's been angry. He's been trying to make a plot. And the day a heroes gather, he decided to make an example. You can kill their master. But he taught them many things. And Shigaraki, he's a lot more special than All for One wanted to give him credit for. It was kept a secret, but apparently he possesses a power. Or, well, let's just say the requirements to be the successor to All for One. Now, we do actually come back over to Deku, as the giant Susanoo does leap into the air, and Deku goes smash down directly onto the air where All Might's supposed to be. Deku actually smashes his large hands down to the forest below. As you actually have All Might, he's currently at least got his body balled up, trying to use his arms and legs to defend his weak spot and his torso. The giant Susanoo fish smashing down over and over onto him, barreling him deeper and deeper as the crater does get larger and larger. As Deku is actually screaming out. All Might, he is not a pro hero. He's nothing more than somebody people worship. And that he should be aware that this is because All for One was right. Now, All Might, he does try to push back on Deku, as he does increase his power. Now, All Might, he actually is going to fling his legs upwards, kicking Deku's, well, left arm upwards and smashing directly above All Might, before he is going to get up and going to stand back up, leaping into the air and rushing forwards as he does start doing multiple different smashes. Now, All Might, he actually sends Deku flying and actually get him off the ground. The large thing going up into the air before slamming back down and shaking the air around it. As All Might, he does start to gain more and more power. Him actually increasing the intensity and trying to rush in as he does keep up his power, increasing it more and more as he does go towards the 1,000,000% smash. Now, All Might, he does rush in, as he does jump back into the air and just start plowing right into Deku's stomach, as he does just continue blowing left, right, and he's saying every state he can. Now, All Might, he does actually charge up the final smash, as he does perform it and directly blast right into Deku. Now, Deku's large Susanoo, it was rendered completely useless. Deku felt the pain in his ribs, as All Might was smashing into the large creature. And the moment Deku, he did watch All Might, he actually go to try and throw out the final smashes. Deku, he just turned off the power and he went falling down. Now, All Might, he did throw the final smash and directly blast the air around the city, as the entire atmosphere almost changes in an instant. Now, you do actually have where Deku, as he is falling, he does actually try to recreate part of his ability. Now, Deku, he does get to recreate the Susanoo, as you do actually have where All Might, he does quickly rush in and directly to grab Deku, putting his arms behind his back and informing him that if he does try to move, he will crush his arms. And Deku was just standing there. Well, All Might, you should be aware. Crush my arms, and you'll have a problem. What would that be? Easy. My older brother. I doubt that. Shigaraki's been on the run for years. And even then, the fact that we finally caught you, you've done too much damage. Maybe. Then again, blame that on the society you're protecting. Now, All Might, he's kind of sickened by it. Deku is the result of something that has still gone on for hundreds of years since the quirks appeared. Ridicule and hate. Deku looks like a villain. Even All Might would say that Deku, he's a villain. In another life, he could be a hero. But there's the way he chose to live. It's not his fault. The young man just a happen circumstance. He was dropped off. People didn't like him. People thought he was evil. They thought that inside there was a monster. But at the same time, they didn't realize this is a monster that they created. And even then, it was nurtured through hate, violence, and death. If the doctor never got his hands on Deku, is it possible he wouldn't have turned out this way? He just doesn't understand. He knows these happen, but why are people like this? They wish for the peace, but they're not willing to show it. If they just gave a hand to these people, maybe crime would be at zero. Now, with that being said, Deku, he's locked away in Tartarus, and he does wait for the day his older brother will break him out. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this mini shot. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Since if it's not really a one shot, I can just do random things for part of that series to see how I feel with the concept. Anyway, guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing night, or an amazing day, and Merry Christmas.